Hey, Community Minister Network. We have got an exciting special episode of Salty Talk for you today. I am with one of our own, Kris Eldridge, and he has some exciting news. He has a book that is coming out that is just for Community Minister Networks. One or every one of you should have at least one copy of this and one copy to give to someone else. The name of his book is Beyond the Walls. Kris, we are so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much for being
Good.
here. So we're going to get right into it. You care? Well,
Sure.
tell us a little bit about where you are located,
Yep.
and then we'll get into the book. Where are you located?
Yeah, so I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm on staff at Northeast Christian Church. I'm actually the local outreach pastor there. I've been on staff there for 4 years now, but I've been in outreach ministry for 27 years now. So
27.
most of that time has actually been spent in local community outreach ministry.
Awesome. Well, so Beyond the Walls, right? Okay, so this is your book. So what problem did you see that the church had in order for you to feel like this book needed to be written?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. One, I've worked with a lot of churches just kind of on my own over the years, and I've seen a lot of churches that have started off with great ideas around an initiative or around an outreach project or so forth. And I would see them start that, but then I would also see after that initiative or outreach was over that it would kind of quickly fizzle out. And maybe over the period of a year or a certain time span, things would die,
Yeah.
and that's really, really big concerning for me. So that's one issue. I think that really needs to be addressed well. The second issue is honestly, there's not a lot of practical guides out there on how to do community outreach. There's a lot of books on evangelism.
Yes.
There's a lot of books on the theory and ideas of community outreach, but
Yeah.
just in terms of a practical nuts and bolts type resource, there's not a lot out there.
Yeah. And I love the title, Beyond the Walls. We've always said that like community engagement or community minister networking is
Yeah.
all about like bridging that gap between
Right.
inside the walls of the church and outside of the walls.
Yeah.
So I love the title, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
It's
Thank
very,
you.
very
Thanks.
catchy.
Thanks.
So give us some simple, like, what is Beyond the Walls? What does it help the churches like practically do?
Yeah, right. So what I think it does practically is it helps provide a framework. Um, So as I've, done ministry for over 25 years now, I've noticed some very distinct patterns in how I've done ministry. And this is going to sound really funny or crazy, but going back reading the book of Nehemiah, I realized that, oh yeah, I've been kind of doing the same thing that Nehemiah has been doing. And it took me a long time to actually figure that out. And I realized after the fact that maybe if I would have really studied Nehemiah carefully first, I could have avoided a lot of time and a lot of mistakes and a lot of pain and everything else.
Oh, that's so cool.
But what it really helps churches do is it helps give them a framework around how do you do community outreach. So the framework are things like, starting with a strong prayer foundation, going next to how do you build like a leadership team,
Yeah.
next going to just kind of be strategic, like how do you assess your community?
Yeah.
How do you assess your own church?
Yeah.
Then how do you mobilize your people in response to all of that? So it helps churches develop a good framework
That's
around that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. And I think that like those are just practical tools that are really, really can help you apply what you think you know and what you may not know to your specific community. Because it sounds like it's pretty good nuts and bolts to where anybody in any city in any framework could really apply these and make it work for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely my hope. That's one thing you'll see when you look at this book is it's not theory. I mean, you can tell that a practitioner has written this book. It's not
For
theory
sure.
at all. There's a lot of tools and templates.
Yeah.
A lot of resources on how to exactly to implement this.
Love those templates. Those templates are so important.
Yeah.
And the more we can network and communicate and
Yeah.
be like, how do you do that? Well, here's what I do. Here's a general skeleton of what I do. Love that.
Yeah.
So who is this book essentially for? Like, is it specifically for community engagement? Could it be for anybody? Like, who is it for? And what do you hope happens when they pick it up and read it?
Yeah. Yeah, so it really is for outreach leaders of all sorts. I mean, even beyond community outreach
For
people. I
sure.
mean, it's definitely focused on the community, but I think there's a lot of principles and foundational type material in there that's applicable to people more beyond just local outreach people as well. But it is specifically for them, for
Yeah.
outreach leaders, whether those are lay people or staff people or so forth. In terms of what I hope for, I really hope that people can get a sense of a strong foundation for community outreach when they read the book. I hope that they can kind of like slow down, be able to assess and be able to build strategically, as opposed to just saying, hey, let's try this idea or hey,
Yeah.
let's try this project. And
Yeah.
then after a time it dies, because
Yeah.
that's not what you want to see happen in your community.
For sure.
And eventually,
Hmm.
if people are able to apply principles, I really do hope
Hmm.
that the church can really be a presence in the community
Mm.
where they're helping to bring about transformation and
Hmm.
Jesus is being seen and known
Yeah.
because of the church's involvement with
Love
the
that.
people there.
I love that. The church can be a presence in the community. I feel like that's a tagline for our whole life and my heartbeat behind community engagement. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Just beyond the walls, listeners, it is going to be available at the end of this month, so February of 2026. Like we said, we want you to have a copy of this book, maybe even two, one for yourself and one to give away, and one to just kind of, hey, get with somebody and say, hey, I have this book. Let's read it together. Let's figure this out together. I'm at my church. You're at your church. Yeah, get two, one for yourself and one to give away. You can get this book at the end of February on Kris's website. It's outreachanswers.com. Or you can just visit the Community Minister Network, communityminister.network. In the front porch, it'll be on there. There'll be a link to your website there. Kris has a couple of upcoming things where he's going to be there and handing out books. So stay tuned for more information. Kris, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Is there
Thanks for having
anything
me.
else you want our listeners to know about this book before we end this little special?
Um, it is a two-part book. I mean, it's actually broken up into two parts because it
Okay.
got so long.
Okay.
And
Right.
so
There's so much good
so
information.
much. So the first part is kind of foundations, and then
Okay.
the second part is like around executing kind of the vision and
Nice.
mission.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are there like little places to take notes and
Yes, there are.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So follow-up questions. Awesome. So it really is a book that you can do with someone else. So this is us signing off. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Kris, for being here. And y'all, stay salty.